What if I told you that you don't fear the spotlight, you fear what people would say as soon as you would step into the spotlight? That just was the intro of one of my most viral videos on Instagram. It even grew me to 20k followers, and because of that, I think it's quite a hot topic, so let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Rosalie, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so happy to be back, and I cannot wait to film lots of awesome content for you over the next few weeks. But let's get straight into today's topic, the fear of being seen. So what even is the fear of being seen? Why do so many people have it subconsciously, and where does it even come from? So in this context, with the fear of being seen, I mean being seen emotionally, being seen as your authentic and vulnerable self, basically giving people a chance to reject you. It can show up in so many different ways, but I will list a few examples so that you might be able to recognize yourself in some of them. Because in my opinion, what I think is that many people have the fear of being seen in at least one area of their life without realizing it. So the fear of being seen can show up in so many ways. For an example, you delete a post because you thought it's too much or it's too vulnerable, it's too you. It could be playing small in relationships and friendships, being the chill girlfriend even though you are quite romantic and you want it. The biggest and most obvious one would probably be hiding opinions, no matter in what surrounding. It could be in school and at work and your family. It could be downplaying achievements or not being able to take compliments. It could be not dressing the way you actually would want to because you know that people will give you weird looks. Or if you're still in school, it could be that you don't raise your hand even though you know the answer, but you're scared that your classmates will laugh at you or tell you, oh my god, you're such a nerd. Like literally the fear of being seen can show up in so many areas and so many ways in our lives. Now, why do so many people have the fear of being seen subconsciously, and why does nobody notice it? I think it is because society normalized it so much. I think the fear of being seen is just normal. It's normal to mask your authentic self, to fit in, to be accepted socially. Basically just that you are normal and that you get along well with everyone. But the thing is, and I want to tell you a little secret about that because I have learned that and I was like, oh my god, yes. You have to be yourself so the people looking for you can actually find you. When you put on a mask over your authentic self, people who match with that mask, not with you, they will find you. And they will come to you, they will become your friends, they will become your coworker, maybe even your family. And then you constantly ask yourself, why don't I have friends that are truly aligned with who I am? Why are my friends so different than me? Well, it is because you put on a mask. It is because you're afraid to be seen and you don't show up as who you are. And don't blame yourself for that because you probably grew up with that fear of being seen. So with that, let's get to the next question. Where does the fear of being seen even come from? It is probably because at some point in your life you learned that being seen wasn't safe. Maybe as a kid you got laughed at when you spoke up in class. Maybe every time you showed confidence, people made you feel like you were too much. Or it could be very simple that your family gave more attention to your mistakes than your successes. So you learned that being seen was being exposed, being seen was being judged, and being seen was being rejected. And all of these experiences, or it could even have been just one experience, formed the belief that it is not safe to be seen and that you should be afraid to show up as yourself. Now, why did that happen? Your mind as a child probably didn't know how to manage these situations. You probably didn't know how to speak up for yourself. So your mind just kind of tried to protect you by staying small and staying safe. But that pattern and that belief that it is not safe to be seen, you carried that in your adulthood now, and you are now putting that belief in so many different areas of your life, and it is holding you back from achieving your potential, from achieving your dreams, from having fulfilled relationships, basically just from living the life you actually want or deserve. And I know that kind of sounds extreme at some points, but for me, when I realized I had that fear of being seen and I actively worked on it, so many things in my life changed, like literally relationships, friendships, my work, my social media, basically everything. So that's why I also talk about it in kind of an extreme way, because I just noticed such a shift in my life. But that pattern and the belief that it is not safe to be seen, you carried that into your adulthood, and you're experiencing your life still through that lens. But the thing is, that fear is outdated. You are not that little version anymore. You know so much more about yourself. You know how to speak up for yourself, how to protect yourself if you get rejected, if people dislike you, and if you don't know how to kind of manage these situations, please learn it, because that is so essential. But basically, you are not that version anymore that needs that protection of this belief. But your subconscious mind and your body, they don't know that. They still think that you're that version. They still think that experiences happening, rejections happening, disliking you happening, that is all dangerous for you. So you need to show yourself that it is safe to be seen, and that even if you would get rejected, even if people dislike you, that it is okay. Now, how do you do that? Because I think the first step is awareness. And if you have that now, if you know like, oh yeah, I think I'm actually scared to be seen in this and this area of my life, the second step is now to bring yourself from the awareness, from the thinking to the acting. How do you change the fear of being seen? How do you change that belief that it is not safe? So I just want to tell you what I did and what really helped me to get over my fear of being seen. And the first thing is this meditation from Rhea Earth. And then also to work with my inner child and with my beliefs. And if you don't know what the inner child is or where to start, this is a book recommendation. It is called The Child in You. For my Germans, it would be Das Kind in dir muss Heimat finden. And she also has like a workbook with it. I wrote my whole like high school, college, gymnasium thesis on the inner child. So I read this book and I think it's awesome, especially if you don't know a lot about the subject yet. And then with inner child work, also work with your limiting beliefs, because our beliefs are basically our core system. It is what is controlling our life, our thoughts, our actions. And if you have a lot of limiting beliefs, that can actually hold you back from a lot of things. And also with this, if you don't know where to start with working on your limiting beliefs, feel free to read books, listen to podcasts about limiting beliefs, or how beliefs create your identity and your reality. If you want something practical from me, I also have my 21-day journey linked in the description. It is basically a 21-day long journey with all of these subjects that will bring you from thinking to acting. It always has a little introduction, and then it has exercises that actually will bring you closer to your dream reality. So feel free to get that as well if you want to. And then one of the most important parts of working with your beliefs and your inner child or whatever is to forgive the people who gave you the fear of being seen, who gave you the belief that it is not safe to be seen. That could be a teacher, your parents, your friends, whoever that might be. Forgive them. And I know it sounds a bit silly to have to forgive people for that. Please do it. For me, it solved a lot. And then what I also did and still do sometimes is to listen to affirmations about the fear of being seen. And I know that it might feel like you're lying to yourself at first because it just doesn't feel authentic and real, but just listen to it over and over again. Just basically gaslight yourself and you will start to see change. Now, in my opinion, the most important thing after all that work, after the inner child work, the belief work, the affirmations and everything, is to prove to yourself in small actionable steps that being seen is actually safe. So that could be something very small, like wearing an outfit you love. It could be raising a hand during a meeting. It could be sharing your opinion with your family at Christmas. It could be to show up authentically on social media. Basically, just take small steps that show yourself that it is safe to be seen, and that even if you're being rejected or attacked, that you are able to protect yourself and that nothing bad happens, even if you are being rejected. Basically, just start proving to yourself that nothing bad happens when you are seen. And even if you get rejected or somebody comments on your opinion in a negative way, just prove to yourself that you are there for yourself, that you're able to stand up for yourself, that you're able to protect yourself, and that nothing really bad is actually happening, that it is just an opinion, maybe an emotional rejection, but your life will continue. Now, the thing is, I know that hiding is the most comfortable, and it is also the choice that your mind will probably subconsciously make, just because it is the thing that will keep your mind safe. But that hiding is also keeping you from the life that you actually deserve. It is keeping you from being fulfilled, from having loving relationships, whether that would be with other people, but also with yourself. And I think many people think that you need to be fearless to be seen, to get over that fear. But honestly, you just need to be willing. Because when you take small actionable steps and you prove to yourself that it is safe, you prove to your nervous system, to your subconscious mind that it is okay to be seen, you don't have to be fearless. And at first it will seem very uncomfortable and very unfamiliar because you're just not used to being seen, but it is not dangerous anymore. You are able to stand up for yourself. But just continue with it and eventually you will also feel the change. So if you've watched until here, ask yourself, who would I be if I wasn't so afraid of that visibility? And also ask yourself, what is one thing you can do today or even this week that will get you closer to letting go of the fear of being seen? And then also try to do that. So that was the whole video of the fear of being seen. I hope that it helped you in some kind of way. If you have any more questions, please feel free to drop them below. 21-day journey is linked in the description, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video.